And I pray that that should not be repeated. Mr. Speaker, when he succeeded John Masasabi, the last substantive Director General, he stayed in that position for 4 years. He kept on doing what he should be doing now, substantively. And Mr. Speaker, I wanted to speak to this issue of acting position. I think the government needs to up its game, both at the national and at county level. When someone is in an acting capacity, Mr. Speaker, they don't fully exercise the authority. They are susceptible to cartels. They are susceptible to manipulation, even susceptible to people who tell them to do the wrong things because they are acting. They are not quite sure whether they will be confirmed or not confirmed. And Mr. Speaker, I want to cascade it to realities as senators. We know that many governors are very, very good at putting people, particularly chief officers, in an acting capacity so that they are able to tell them do this and do the other. And those people do not have security in their jobs, and they are hoping that they will be the ones to be confirmed. And Mr. Speaker, we must bring a law that will stop any governor or any officer in public sector, both at the national and at the local government level, at the county government level, from making public servants stay in an acting capacity for too long, Mr. Speaker, so that these public servants can be able to deal with their offices substantively. Mr. Speaker, I am going to focus on some of the duties that this Director General for Health needs to look at. If you look at the duties that he's supposed to undertake, and I hope he's listening to me, don't be a failure in this ministry and hide behind the PS and hide behind the Cabinet Secretary. We have had a situation here in Kenya where a whole Inspector General of Police, an IG, which to me, the Director for Health, Public Health is like an IG in the ministry, the equivalent, who kept quiet when the situation in Kenya was deteriorating, security situation. We never saw him on television. We never saw him talking to people, and the country was going south. Mr. Speaker, we want to see a strong Director General. A Director General who will not be stationed in Nairobi, moving around in the shadow of the Cabinet Secretary. You are supposed to be an advisor to the Cabinet Secretary. Yes, an advisor to the government. But look, amongst your duties, you are supposed to also be an advisor to all county governments and the national government. So you should not be staying in Nairobi. Mr. Speaker, for you to advise the Cabinet Secretary and to advise the government properly on matters health, you should be out there listening and hearing and finding out what is happening on the ground. Mr. Speaker, the Director General for Health during the COVID time in the US, some doctor called Fanucci or something, if I remember well, he was always on TV, Mr. Speaker, always explaining things. He would go to Congress and explain public health policies. He would go and explain to people whatever the national government is thinking. He would try to create measures that would try to align even state health policies with what the national government was doing. He was present. Of course, later on, he has been questioned on some of the measures that he had recommended to the public in the US. But he was there at the time that he was required. We expect the public, the Director General, to be present to the public. Mr. Speaker, like right now, we have been hearing about a disease called Mpox. We have been hearing that it has crossed over the border into Kenya. We have been hearing and even seeing pictures circulating in social media that the first case has been spotted. And Mr. Speaker, we see pictures of horrible skin infection, and we are being told through social media that that is Mpox. And yet, the Ministry of Health, we have not had anything. Even him as an acting Director General, Dr. Patrick Amoth, in this one, you have not been heard at all. Don't be an absentee landlord. Come out and speak to Kenyans. This is what you are employed to do. Don't sit and hide there. One of the responsibilities for you as you are taking over this position is for you to come and tell Kenyans about infectious diseases. If you look at what you are supposed to do, infectious diseases in Kenya, and telling people how we can prevent infectious diseases coming from other countries into our nation. Now we're being told about this Mpox. Now you have left me, Senator Mungatana, my children, my constituents, my voters, and all my associates at the mercy of social media. Nobody is speaking about this thing. And you are there, even if you are in an acting capacity. Listen to me. Get out of the shadows of cabinet secretaries, the shadows of politicians. Come out and do your duty. Let us know we have a Director General for Health, so that we are able to hear and to know where you stand officially, technically, where you stand on issues. If this is fake news, then let me hear from my Director General for Health that there is no Mpox, that this thing is not there. But if it is there, let me hear what I'm supposed to tell our people. What are the preventive measures I'm supposed to do? We want the culture of top public servants who speak on technical issues to be established, that when you come to speak, you speak so that we can believe you. Don't hide. Don't hide. Don't hide behind ministers. Don't hide behind PSs. Come out and speak on issues. Mr. Speaker, on this score, I must say, I am disappointed because the person who is acting now has not come to speak on this very crucial issue. Mr. Speaker, during the flooding in Tana River County and other counties that were affected by flooding, it is the time that we needed to see Director General for Health, even though you are in an acting capacity, coming out to talk to people, telling us, you know, now we have this risk of this kind of diseases. Let Kenyans look at you to be the doctor you are. It should not be PSs and CSs alone speaking on policy, and they never trained in that area. When there is an outbreak of dengue fever, when there is an outbreak of malaria or what, let us see you taking the microphone and speaking to us. This is what we want to see, because this is your responsibility. Kenyans want an authority. And you know, one of the duties you have is the internship program. It's supposed to be fully under the Director for Health, the Director General for Health. We have had complaints about how people are posted, how people are being paid, how all these things. It is in your docket to come and tell us as Kenyans, what do we do with our children who have qualified? What are we supposed to do with them? And they are supposed to do that internship for them to become licensed to practice. So Mr. Speaker, what I'm trying to say is, Dr. Patrick Amoth, it is not enough that you have all these nice qualifications, which we thank you for. It is not enough that you have all this experience, which we are grateful for, as we confirm you into this position. The people of Tana River, they don't know you, because you never come out to talk about anything. So just get out. Stop being this doctor thing of, oh, me, I'm a scientist and I will hide, oh, my work will speak for myself. Be like Dr. Halwale. Make noise until everybody listens and hears what you are saying. Because we need public servants to speak on technical issues. Mr. Speaker, I will belabor that point. We need public servants to speak on technical issues so that everybody does his work. As a senator, I'm supposed to do my work here in this house and out there. You are supposed to do your work where you are. It is very wrong, Mr. Speaker, for us to pay these people and to give them positions, and they are not doing what they are supposed to do. I was not part of that. I'm not in that health committee. But, Mr. Speaker, it's not enough to just say, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, I didn't do that. You need to say what you're doing so that we as Kenyans can have full confidence in you as a new person who is taking that position. And, Mr. Speaker, I need to say it here that one of the senators here who was speaking said, this man does not belong to this political party or other what, so he will give fair opportunity or service to every Kenyan. I think that's the wrong way to approach these matters. When you are being asked to take up public positions, we are not asking you to forfeit your Christian beliefs or Hindu beliefs or heathen beliefs, whatever it is. We are not asking you to do that. We are also not asking you to stop saying you belong to UDA or you belong to whatever other political party. Your belonging or not belonging is not the issue. The issue is, are you capable of doing the work that is before you? And, Mr. Speaker, we need to accept that people can have different opinions, but when it comes to work, people must be able to execute the duties which we have selected them or elected them to do. And very quickly, I want to mention, Mr. Speaker, that a lot of controversy is coming around the nomination process and the vetting process, and my colleagues have mentioned about it. I hope the other motion will come, but just quickly to mention, Mr. Speaker, there was a cabinet secretary for transportation in Obama